Joining us now is Ojy Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Ojy.
You're going to have it this week.
What have I done this morning?
To give up.
Leila,
you're really
please,
going to get it from Dr. Abati this week.
I need protection.
Tomorrow you are doing it.
I've got you. I've got you. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Abati.
Good morning.
How was your weekend?
Yeah, great.
Perfect.
Great.
Good morning, Leila.
Great to see you as always. I'm good.
Perfect. Well, good morning to you viewers. We begin What's Trending today in the United Kingdom. A video shot to celebrate the discharge of a Nigerian consultant surgeon, Professor Ojy Okpe, of the Royal Free Hospital in England after recovering from COVID-19 has gone viral on social media. Professor Okpe ended up in the intensive care unit after contracting the disease, and the best doctors in England battled hard to save him because, according to them, he was irreplaceable. Well, let's take a look.
Thank you very much, everyone. I mean, about just over 6 weeks ago, I came here, sort of feeling very ill, and I put my trust in my colleagues, and they have been disappointed. The care I've received on the intensive care unit has been superb, second to none. And when I eventually, well, certainly I can speak for the time when after I woke up after about 2.5 weeks, and the staff there made a potentially embarrassing situation a non-event. It's been excellent. I don't think I could have got better care anywhere. And when I came up to the ward, the same thing. Everything has been perfect. I've put my trust in the staff in the Royal Free, and they've come up trumps. It's the very first time I've ever been hospitalized in my life.
Oh, completely amazing.
Amazing.
It's always so special.
We're
to
so
see our
happy
doctors,
he's recovered.
Yes. I know, and he said it's the first time he's been hospitalized in his entire life. It's so amazing.
And look at that response that he got. It just goes to show how well appreciated and respected he is by his NHS colleagues.
Yes.
Yeah, what I see there is love, solidarity, a sense of community, and I think it's quite impressive. It's even more impressive that this is a Nigerian, a professor of colorectal surgery, who is doing very well in the United Kingdom, and there are many like that, like him. My only concern is when I saw this video circulating over the weekend was that, okay, could it be something else and not COVID-19? Because you could see that, he's in the company of his colleagues, health workers, but not one person there was using a face mask. He himself was not using a face mask. And I said, well, this is a time of COVID-19. Ordinarily, in that kind of place, with that picture, with no physical distancing, you will expect that people will use, a face mask. But however, whatever the true situation may be, I think, this expression of love and, solidarity is something that is heartwarming. And we congratulate him on his recovery.
We do.
Certainly. Well, let's take a story in Nigeria. 3 individuals out of the 256 evacuees from Dubai that arrived at Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos on May 6th have tested positive for COVID-19. Now, upon arrival, officials of the Nigeria Center for Disease Control said all of the 256 evacuees had tested negative for COVID-19. Evacuees were placed on 14 days isolation. Well, over the past week, videos of the alleged evacuees complaining of ill treatment circulated on social media. Well, let's take a look at one before we come back for a discussion.
Making this noise, the NDCDC have not come to us. They have not come and see us. They don't know how we are feeling, whether we are eating, whether we are not eating, whether we are okay here, whether we are not okay. Mosquito, how are we fighting with mosquito where they kept us? None of them are coming. The next thing we saw on the news is that somebody that came to us died of coronavirus. The truth of the matter is they don't keep the record straight. You can see people gathered here. There's no truth on what they are saying. We want to hear us so that by tomorrow when we start to fabricate whatever they are saying, you will know the truth. Yes. We are the eyewitness. We are the people that it matters a lot.
Well, You know, so far, this whole issue of coronavirus, the idea really at this point for us to know is that it is so contagious. You know, they eventually did test negative before they got into Nigeria, and you can see they had to do another test for them to, for you to see that 3 other people tested positive for the virus. Well, the idea of this whole ill treatment that we just saw here, I don't know, you know, how true that is. They also said one person had died from the disease as well. So I think that, you know, the NCDC officials should really look into this whole matter at this point.
We certainly have had mixed reports, but I also think that what we can see in the videos is what we can see. These people have come back, and clearly they are frustrated at the treatment that they are getting for different reasons. We have heard that, of course, we already know. They are supplying their own food supplies, etc. They are not necessarily, they don't feel like they are being looked after. So now that you're hearing that 3 people have tested positive for coronavirus, it points out a lot of things. Firstly, the importance of these lockdowns that the government had to impose, and the importance of quarantining, and the importance of forced quarantining on people, and not saying to people you can just go home, because now we can see that you can certainly find cases. But I mean, I think the government needs to look into their complaints, because quite frankly, we have been hearing for this for over a week, and something does need to be done to address it.
Well, I imagine that government has already looked into their complaints. That's the Lagos state government. It's the Lagos state government that is involved in this, because that's the isolation center or the quarantine center.
Apparently it's a hotel.
Around Lekki. Yes, hotels have been converted into quarantine centers. Now, what happened on that occasion was that the Commissioner for Health, Lagos State, Professor Akin Abayomi, visited them. And these gentlemen you saw in that video, they were registering their displeasure, particularly with the Commissioner for Health, Lagos State, having announced that one of the returnees from the United Arab Emirates had died. And they were saying they would not allow the commissioner to talk to them, except he retracted that statement that the person died of a COVID-19 related illness, because he said the person had gone to Dubai for surgery and that he died because he had been abandoned after he came back, and no attempt was made to allow persons who had other conditions to have access to Medicare. Now, the commissioner had gone there to tell them that the state government will be coming to conduct tests, COVID-19 tests on them. They said they will not take that COVID-19 test, except the commissioner retracted his statement. And the commissioner had since done that. He went online and he said, well, it was quoted out of context. The person who died did not die as a result of COVID-19. So now that the test has been carried out, then we're told that 3 of them have tested positive. So I think it's good for government to also take a lesson from what has transpired in this particular case, that persons in quarantine centers or isolation centers deserve the very best of care.
Absolutely.
And I guess for them to have allowed the test to be conducted, it means that the matter has been resolved by the Lagos state government.
All right, very well said. Let's head over to Madagascar now, where a 57-year-old man has become the first to die from complications of COVID-19. According to the spokesperson of the Coronavirus Operation Command Center, the man died on Saturday in Tomasina City, Madagascar, after experiencing severe complications. The spokesperson added that 2 other people who were also in severe complications are still in intensive care. Users on Twitter have now expressed their skepticism over the country's self-proclaimed COVID-19 cure. While one user in the country's defense wrote, "There is medicine for malaria, yet people die of malaria all the time. That one person has died of coronavirus in Madagascar is not enough reason to distrust their medicine." In response, another user wrote, "Nonetheless, it is important to emphasize this death, as those supporting Madagascar's yet scientifically untested remedy used the 0 death rate as proof that it works."
I mean, first of all, rest in peace to the 57-year-old who lost his life in his fight against COVID-19. But I mean, I find it quite funny. I don't really think you can associate one death with saying that their proposed cure, COVID organics, the Malagasy COVID organics, is not something that works or something that should be approved. I mean, quite frankly, they have recorded 1 death. So I think that there's still a lot that goes to show, and that's why it's important that African countries now through their existing organizations put in that research to see how they can to see if we can actually get this approved in our own countries as well, and to see if it's actually a valid cure. So, yeah.
Well, Madagascar has 304 confirmed cases, only 1 death recorded so far from COVID-19. Now, if you look at, the infection rate and you look at the death rate, you may see that perhaps there's something that they are doing in Madagascar that is working. Right. That's one point. The second point, however, is that COVID organics is controversial. WHO says it doesn't provide any cure for, COVID-19. Maybe it can relieve a person of certain symptoms. But even in Madagascar itself, there is controversy. I've read a report, the Ministry of Health in Madagascar, saying that, they've not been involved in the process of testing COVID organics.
There's a lot of controversies with this.
The National Medical Association in Madagascar is also saying, look, this does not represent a cure. They are saying something different from what the government is saying. So there will always be that controversy. But at least Madagascar has made the effort. Madagascar has drawn attention to phytomedicine. And Madagascar has, put Africa on the map in terms of the conversation around the race for a cure for COVID-19.
I know what, go ahead.
What I was saying to Doctor earlier as well that I found quite interesting is that over 12,000 plants are endemic to Madagascar, means they cannot be found anywhere in the world except for Madagascar, which makes Madagascar a country that is so rich in the ability to actually provide herbal cures. And we cannot ignore that because they broke away from the wild over 70 million years ago. So they have endemic animals, endemic plants. Quite frankly, I think that's another reason why I kind of push this thing to the forefront, because I do genuinely believe in them and their ability to actually propose something that is worth it.
Yeah, I'm glad that you say that, actually.
The big takeaway is not just biodiversity, because Nigeria also has rich biodiversity.
Extremely.
It's about research.
Yeah.
People moving beyond superstition and religion to apply the intellect to produce something that can be of use, whether it's a herbal mixture or something that is more advanced. And that's why here in Nigeria, we keep saying that we need to invest more
in R&D,
in research
on these
and to empower academics, our scientists, our research institutes.
Madagascar recorded its first case in March. I mean, it's quite amazing that, like you said, it's just one death from the whole country.
And to be honest, I think they're doing quite a good job. This is such a small country. It's a single island. I mean, they're doing well. They're trying. We got to get it.
I remember when we first took the case, it was such a...
We were so skeptical.
We're like, oh, no. I mean, this is not, certified, but, I think they are doing something different.
Certainly.
And they must be commended. Well, let's take our final story in Nigeria, a video of an officer of the Nigerian Air Force, fully dressed in uniform and armed, showing off his dancing skills, went viral on social media over the weekend. The video showed the cheerful side of the Nigerian military man, sort of a reminder that they are also human. Let's take a quick look.
Well, at least he's finding something to laugh and smile about during this time,
Exactly. I mean, they must be celebrated with all of their wins recently.
Well, I hope he doesn't get sanctioned, like the 5 ladies of Nigeria Immigration Service.
Yeah, I really hope he doesn't.
Who we were told were posted to, some other parts of Nigeria because they were seen doing a bop daddy.
Exactly.
But it's good news that, those 5 ladies, they are transfers, have been suspended by the head of the Immigration Service. I hope he doesn't get sanctioned. It's good to see a happy,
it's against the moral code of the
officer.
There are so many stories right now on social media saying whether or not he's arrested or blah, 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 but I don't believe that, that is happening.
I'm sorry, that's a rep for the NAF at the end of the day. We need to start smiling more. Can we smile more? He's just having some fun.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thanks, Ojy. We'll see you tomorrow.